Hello there and welcome back to the channel and a start of a new little series that we're doing where we explore some of the smaller features of the game, stuff like the one we're doing today, which is the Hall of the Novice. It's going to be a short video just explaining where it is, what it is and what you do with it and what you can get from it and why it's worth doing. So we're just going to jump straight into it. Once you've reached about level 15 in the main story, it will send you to Airport, which is where we are now. And it will send you, it will send you to the Hall of the Novice. Now, most people will do that Hall of the Novice quest, check in, and then just go running off and doing their own thing. But there is some more to it. There is a bit more to it than that. So we're going to go running off. We're going to follow Rin, and he's going to take us to where it is. You all good with that? Good. Off we go. Right, so if we follow Rin's here, we'll be heading out of Airport, and then hanging right there, this lovely building over here, is the Hall of the Novice. Now the main story will send you in here, but like I said, most players will come running in and they'll go straight to the quest, speak to her, and then go running off and on to the next main story quest. But we are gonna check out this place in here. Let's see, I'm gonna explain what you can get in here and what this place involves. I'm gonna hang from a left hand side here. On this lovely thing, in this visitor's log, you will find a whole bunch of little entries. I'm not going to read them all. You can, when you get here, you can read them in depth, or we'll gloss over what they are talking about. So first one here, typing commands to execute actions. If you want to, you can use slash commands, text commands, in order to actually play the game. Don't think you can move. You can use them for actions, casting spells, various bits and pieces. Can be quite handy. Keyboard shortcuts basically for emotes and weapon skills. Fairly standard stuff. There is a whole list of them, and so that leads us into the second one, which is macros. Now macros are a string of text commands that you can attach, that you can type into the macro, and then it'll generate a little skill button, and you can put that on your hotbar, and whenever you press that macro button, it will repeat everything that you've typed in the macro itself. You can use them for combat. It's very, very frowned upon to use macros for combat because they're generally not efficient. You can push a button faster than a macro can push the button, if you know what I mean, so to speak. Generally, combat macros or a no-no. You don't do combat stuff. What they're mostly used for are for crafting, the crafting side of things, and quality of life stuff. Mostly for PlayStation users, we'll use them more for quality of life stuff. Stuff that'll help you do stuff quickly, sometimes targeting stuff, or stuff along those lines. Stuff that's not directly combat. So next on the list we'll have signs and marks. Now there are loads of signs and marks. You can put up the marks menu, which is this one, and you have various different marks. Targets to attack, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6. Well, I don't know where 5's gone. Or was that 5? It is 5. That looked like a 6 there, sorry. Targets to attack, target to bind, 1, 2 and 3, target to ignore, and you get various different ones. Now what these are used for is if a tank wants someone, or What these are used for are your top ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are for if you need to target a certain enemy first. Rather than type in a chat, target that enemy first, you can just put a number 1 above the enemy that you want people to kill first, or want people to focus on, and everyone instinctively should know to attack that enemy first and leave the rest. And you can set an order with the numbered ones. You can set an order of kill order. Not all tanks use it, not all groups use them, but they do come in handy. Next ones are the targets to bind. You very rarely see these. These are never really used in most of the content. In my 7 years playing, I've never seen them really being used for that. Next, you have the targets to ignore, which are pretty much exactly that. You would prop up and see if there's an enemy that you don't want to kill or that you shouldn't kill until a certain point. Then the tank, usually the tank, will plop a marker on top of an enemy that can't be killed or shouldn't be killed, and you should know if you see that marker to ignore it, don't attack it. And then what these tend to be used for, just different shapes. These are mostly used for when you're in groups, in larger groups, the 8-person parties. They usually mark a player. They'll put one of these above a player. Quite often it's a healer, or if everyone needs to follow a certain person who knows what they're doing, they'll put a mark above their head, and you follow that person. You follow that mark. It makes key players easier to identify and to find in the crowd. That's what they tend to be used for more often than not. Now, the other side of it is the way markers. Now these way marks are floor markings, so you can set up strategies in the battle itself. So you can tell people DPS, when this happens, DPS move to point A, tanks move to point B, healers move to point C, stuff like that. And it's just easier to guide your stuff around. It's easier to guide your players around and set up strategies in dungeons and fights. It's mostly used in boss fights, in the trials. Right, so next we have a brief guide to playing your role. Now obviously, as I've explained in previous tutorials, there are 3 main roles in the game: tanks, healers and DPS, and that's basically explaining a little bit more about them. And last but not least in this book is learning the lingo. Now obviously it is a few bits and pieces of lingo in this book, but I have done a lingo with Leah video which explains quite a few of the common lingos in the game, players of non-combat stuff and things, so feel free to check that one out if you're interested. And that leaves that. So moving from left to right, we have we're going to go with these guys. These guys here are your role masters. You would talk like, I'm on warrior at the minute, marauder at the minute. And if you talk to the master of shields, he will give you advice on basic tanking, various bits, like enemy, just general stuff. Definitely worth checking out. And he won't talk to me as a tank, but you can speak to the DPS one for the similar things for the DPS jobs. And last but not least, at the end there is the Master of Magics, which deals with healing. and that's those guys. And then last but not least, if you talk to the smith, you can register for the Hall of Novice training. Now what this is, it's a series of 8 exercises that you can do. It will take you into a combat arena, a controlled combat arena, and it will explain all of the basics of tanking. And for each one that you complete, you will get a piece of level 15 gear, which is quite good. And if you do all of them, you will get a brand new ring, which is a really good ring for helping you level up to level 30. It is a 30% boost up to level 30. And there are 3 different gear sets to get. You get a tank set, you can get a DPS set, and you can get a caster set from each trainer respectively. So if you want the tank set, you go do your train as a tank, and then you can change to a DPS, go in, get the DPS set, and you can go in again as a caster or healer, and you will get a healing / casting set, a mage set. Now those are very fancy sets. They look quite cool. They will last you a little while. Got good stats, and they'll sort you out for your first dungeon. And they look like this. This is the tank set. Looking very fancy. And you get the DPS set, which is shared between both melee and ranged. And then last but not least, you get the caster set, which is shared between caster, DPS and healers. They will share stats, early levels. So this has been a short look. This has been a quick look at the Hall of the Novice. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. Even if it's just for the gear sets you can get and the brand new ring, it's definitely worth it. Hope this has helped you. If it has, please let me know in the comment section below. If you're new here, feel free to come check out some of the stuff we've got going on. Would love to have you around. If you're not new here, welcome back. And please like, share, comment, subscribe and all that jazz. And as always, just see you on the flip side. Bye bye.